Hello, humans, and welcome to our humble little show. The adventure you're about to embark on was crafted in person and socially distant in New York City, a ghost town, I hear. Luckily for you, the ghosts are moving tonight. Restless, hungry. We're all so glad you could join us.
Greetings. I'm Frederick Loren, and tonight I've rented the house on Haunted Hill so that my wife can throw a party. A haunted house party. She's so amusing. There will be food, drinks, ghosts, maybe even a murder or two. And you're all invited. If any of you can stay the next 12 hours at this house, I will give you each $10,000. Or your next of kin, in case you don't survive. You have until midnight to find the house on Haunted Hill. After that, you won't be allowed in. So please hurry, won't you?
Frederick Loren living in a modern mansion, not a strange place like this.
Oh, Mr. Loren doesn't live here. He rented the place for me for the one night.
Is this where you live?
No one could live in this house. I spent a night here once, a long time ago. I'm lucky to be alive.
What happened?
Since it was built a century ago, 7 people, including my brother, have been murdered in it. Since then, I've owned the house. I've only spent the one night in it. I'd heard it was haunted, but I didn't believe it. When they found me in the morning, I was almost dead.
Were you conscious the whole time?
No. When my bones began to break, I passed out.
When what did what?
The imagination plays strange games, Miss Pritchard.
A doctor?
Psychiatrist.
Don't tell me you believe in ghosts.
Of course not, but I was intrigued by the invitation.
How were you invited?
Well, I'm ashamed to say I had never heard of Frederick Loren. So when I got a letter from him, I was inclined to ignore it. However, he seemed genuinely interested in my field. I'm doing some research on hysteria. So the whole idea rather amused me. Having a group of total strangers spend the night in a so-called haunted house.
Are we all strangers to each other? Don't you two know each other?
I don't even know your name.
I'm Nora Manning.
Lance. Schroeder. Glad to meet you.
Is Frederick Loren a friend of yours?
I've heard about him, but I've never seen him.
This is delightful. I've never met the man either. I work for one of his companies, but I've never met him.
I don't know him. All of the details about renting this house were done by mail.
How much does it rent for by the night? I know some people who could use a haunting.
I don't think I should divulge that.
What a perfect setting. And his invitation didn't ask for a thing. Just come to a haunted house party. He is quite wealthy, isn't he?
Loaded. Just the other day, he inherited another $10 million.
And 5 wives, isn't it?
4, I think. So far.
Is Mrs. Loren going to be here?
I think so.
Is she as good looking as her pictures?
This must be the party to end all of Fred Loren's goofy parties.
A $50,000 party for only 5 people is pretty steep, even for a millionaire.
Only last year, Fred Loren chartered an ocean liner for a party. It lasted a month.
It's not a very warm welcome, is it?
Only the ghosts in this house are glad we're here. And Sparky!
Get it away.
He's harmless.
Well, if I were a ghost, this would be the house I'd haunt.
Wait until you see the rest of it.
Real spooky, huh?
Who closed the door?
The guests were completely unaware of the happenings just a few feet above their heads.
That's a very fetching outfit, darling, but hardly suitable for a party.
Oh, I'm not going to the party.
This Spend the Night Ghost Party was your idea, remember? And it's costing me $50,000, so I would like it if you had fun.
Why didn't you think of that when you invited the guests? It was my party until you stepped in and invited all the guests. Why these total strangers?
Oh, I had a reason for inviting each and every single one of our guests. I wanted a cross-section, from psychiatrist to typist, and from drunk to jet pilot.
Oh, poor, simple creatures. They have no idea what you have in store for them.
Not a clue.
Oh, you call this a party?
Could be. Join me?
No, thank you.
Here, have some. Might improve your humor a little
My
bit.
humor is fine. Thanks.
Just have a little bit. You'll have more fun.
Well, what progress has been made?
Well, we've contacted government officials, and they refuse our existence.
What plan will you follow now?
Plan 9. Their souls are too controlled.
Plan 9. Oh, yes, Plan 9. That's the...
Yes. It's a pity that it must happen this way, but it must.
They have no suspicions of your movements?
We shall be just as successful this time.
Your trust is so touching. Still, I am not going to your party.
You know, of all my wives, you are the least agreeable.
But still alive.
Ah, it would make a good headline. Playboy kills wife. If ever a man had grounds for divorce.
But no way to prove them.
You'll slip up one of these days, my Annabelle dear.
I think so.
If I live long enough. Remember the fun we had when you poisoned me?
Something you ate, the doctor said.
Oh, yes, yes. Arsenic on the rocks. You'd try again if you thought you'd get away with it, wouldn't you?
Darling, what makes you think that?
Something about you. I do hear that hanging is rather uncomfortable, my dear. In case you get any more of your ideas. You make me angry. I like you. Don't let the ghosties and ghouls disturb you, my dear.
Oh, darling, the only ghouls in this house are you.
And don't stay up all night trying to think of ways to get rid of me. Makes wrinkles.
And this is what she used on my brother and her sister. Hacked them to pieces! We found pieces of them all over this house in places you wouldn't even think. But the funny thing is, none of the heads have been found.
The wife, probably in a rage, threatened her husband with a knife, and then, carried away by hysteria, took a swing at him and simply went from there.
She certainly went on. How many people did she kill, Mrs. Pritchard?
Only 2. Her husband and her sister. No one else was here.
So there are 2 loose heads floating around in here somewhere?
You can hear them at night. They whisper to each other and then cry. Since our host isn't here, would anyone care to mix me a drink?
Certainly. What will you have?
Oh, shouldn't you say name your poison?
Hello. I'm your host, Frederick Loren.
Mr. Loren, I advise you to call this night off at once. The ghosts are already moving. That's a bad sign.
I'd like to apologize for my wife's absence. She'll be joining us shortly. Now, before the party begins, I'd like to go over a few details. The doors will lock at midnight, and after that, there will be no way out until the morning. The windows have bars that a jail would be proud of, and the only way out locks like a vault. There was no phone, no electricity, and no one around for miles. So no way to cry for help.
Like a coffin?
If you'd like to leave, you must let me know now. Of course, if you do, I will not be able to pay you a thing.
I'm interested in your reasons for this party, aside from the pleasant company.
Ghosts, Doctor.
Oh, amusing. Ghosts, etc. Being only creations of hysteria. Your party should be a success.
Pritchard here guarantees genuine ghosts.
7 now. Maybe more before morning.
That's cheerful.
4 men have been murdered in this house, and 3 women.
Pritchard, why don't you give us a tour of the rest of the house, and let's see what happens.
See those stains? Blood. A young girl was murdered here, and whatever got her wasn't human.
What do you mean? Where?
Blood.
Ew, blood. From where?
From the young girl murdered here.
Miss Pritchard, you're the life of the party.
She hasn't even started yet. Pritchard, wasn't a man, didn't he drown his wife in a wine vat or something like that?
Oh, that was in the cellar. There's been a murder almost every place in this house. All this used to belong to a Mr. Norton who didn't die here. He was electrocuted later. Now, Mr. Norton did a good deal of experimenting with wine, but his wife didn't think it was any good, so Mr. Norton filled the vat up with acid and threw her in. Funny thing, none of the murders in this house were just ordinary, like shooting or stabbing. They were all sort of wild and violent. Different. Sure is dry and dusty down here.
Oh, yes, well, there's a cure for that upstairs, I believe. Come along.
Hey, walk slowly. How'd you get invited to this party? I mean, what did he tell you?
Mr. Loren said everybody would get $10,000.
But nothing about having to stay? On the phone, he mentioned a deal, but nothing about having to stay.
Aren't you going to stay?
And lose the 10,000?
I'm going to stay too. $10,000.
You believe in ghosts?
I don't know.
I agree with the doc. You can spook yourself. I've done it before in planes, seen things that weren't there. Or were they? What are you gonna do with the $10,000 if you get it?
Well, we were in an automobile accident and now I'm the only one in my family still alive and able to earn any money.
I never knew my mother and father. There are so many doors down here.
You going in that thing? Lance? Do you hear that sound? No?
That's only the wind.
Does it go anywhere? Hey, you know the radio's been on all this time?
Ladies and gentlemen, please forgive the... Do not be alarmed. There is a...
Lance? Lance? Lance! Help! 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 Lance! Gone! And there's a ghost!
You're acting like an idiot.
Come on!
See what I mean?
I didn't think they would do it so soon.
Come on!
Then.
Lance?
The group rushed to the cellar to find Lance slowly slipping back into consciousness as he pulled himself off the floor.
Are you all right?
Nothing money won't cure. Must have bumped my head.
The only way you could bump your head in here is if you ran head on into the wall.
What do you suppose that was?
Ghosts. Like the kind Pritchard was talking about.
Yeah, maybe.
The only spirits she saw tonight were those I smell on her breath.
I wonder why they didn't kill him.
They.
There was something.
What did it look like?
It was...
Weren't you a little frightened at the time? That, Miss Loren, is hysteria.
Well, then how do you explain what happened to Lance? Was that hysteria too, Doctor?
Better get that checked in a day or so.
The ghosts are coming closer, Mr. Loren.
Would you like a drink, Lance?
No, thanks very much.
I'd like one. Scotch and soda.
I want to find out who hit me. Something or somebody was here. It could have been a ghost, Nora.
I don't know. I was just so scared. I just don't know.
You were so scared?
Thanks.
You're still scared.
Stop it, I mean
Oh, they're gonna get you, Nora.
You're acting like an idiot.
We'll investigate now. Now you stay close.
It's hard to find something when you don't know what you're looking for.
Radio Network. Stay tuned to this wavelength
Did you hear the radio?
emergency information. Your law enforcement agencies urge you to remain in your homes. Keep all doors and windows locked or boarded shut. Civil defense forces are attempting to gain control of the situation. Remain in your homes, cellars, bomb shelters.
Lance, something's happening. What's happening?
Nora, what? Oh, just the radio needs to be fixed.
It's not the radio. The station, I don't know what's happening. Something's going
Stop
on
joking
up there.
around.
I'm not joking. They said that we should... You don't believe me.
Sure I do.
Ugh.
Wait, I'm just trying to figure everything out.
Nora furiously flew down the halls to escape our doubting Lance. However, she wasn't the only one wandering the house on this cold, dark night.
I'm sorry, I frightened you. I'm Annabelle Loren, and you must be Miss Manning. You've been crying. Oh, what's the matter? I realize this is an unusual and I'm afraid rather dull party. Here's your room. Depressing, isn't it?
Doubt if I spend much time here.
It's going to rain. Perfect atmosphere for my husband's party. Why did you come here?
He said he would give everybody $10,000.
Why did he pick you?
I don't know. My supervisor just came and told me I had been invited.
Well, how long have you known my husband?
I just met him tonight.
So why you? What were you doing wandering around by yourself?
Well, I was in the cellar with Lance, Mr. Schroeder, and I left, that's all.
Don't do it again. Don't go anywhere in this house by yourself. I'll fix your face.
But
You're in danger. We all are. I hope, for your sake, you never find out.
Nora!
I'm Annabelle Loren, and you must be the doctor.
No, Lance, Schroeder.
The pilot. You've been hurt.
Just bumped my head.
I think this is your room.
Yeah, that's mine. Thanks, Mrs. Loren.
Annabelle. Lance. You were with that young girl in the cellar. Why was she crying?
Was she? I don't know, Nora thought she heard something.
She was just frightened then?
And mad at me, I guess. I kidded her about it.
I wouldn't joke about anything that happens here tonight.
Are you taking all this seriously?
This is no party. He's planning something.
Your husband?
I wish I knew what it was.
But we don't even know him.
Perhaps that's exactly why you're here. My husband is sometimes insane. With jealousy. Nothing matters to him, not even a human life.
Would he hurt you?
He would kill me. If he could.
Our Annabelle found herself in a rare moment of absolute solitude when she was finally out of reach of the murderous gaze of her...
Annabelle, you're missing all the fun, dear. Nora Manning was almost killed and that pilot bashed his head in.
Oh, is he badly hurt?
Well, that saturnine psychiatrist is bandaging him up. Oh, don't you want to come up and console him like you do with most men in your fashion?
Oh, you're so clever, Frederick.
I lie awake at night wondering why I ever married you. Rather a mistake.
You didn't marry me, dear. I married you. Unpleasant, but no mistake.
Hurry up, dear.
Frederick, for the last time, I am not going to your party.
And for the last time, it is not my party, It is your party, and you are going.
No, I am not.
Ready, dear?
No.
Ready, dear?
Yes. Damn you.
Would you adore me as much if I were poor? All you want to be is a lovely widow. It's almost time for the doors to lock. And then your party really begins.
I wonder how it will end. Has Plan 9 been successful?
Oh yes, we've already risen 3 of the dead. And many more to come.
Do not fail.
I shall not fail. Midnight! Midnight!
Having heard their host's call, our guests cautiously gathered in the parlor.
Where's Nora? Miss Manning. Where have you been?
I don't want to stay here.
What happened, Nora?
I'm not going to stay here.
I hope I'm not late. I was reading.
Well, it looks like we have a case of hysteria on our hands, Doctor.
No, I think she's just a little upset, not hysterical.
Good evening.
Ah! Hello, dear. Allow me to introduce you to each of our guests. This is Nora Manning, Dr. Trent. You, of course, know Pritchard, and this, my dear, is Lance Schroeder.
Let's get out of here.
What about the 10,000?
I don't care. He wants
Who?
to. Mr. Loren.
May I have your attention, please? I think you're all aware of the bargain we made when you came to this house tonight. 10,000 apiece. And if any of you don't survive, 50,000 shall be divided amongst the rest of you evenly. And if I shall not survive, well, you'll be paid by my estate. Now, when the doors lock, we'll be stuck in here until 8 o'clock in the morning. If you decide that you want to leave, you must now, or else you will not be able to leave after they are locked.
I'm not going to stay.
It's not midnight yet.
They never lock before midnight.
Well, I was going to ask you if you wanted to stay, but I'm afraid that the decision has been made for you. We're all locked in now.
But I don't want to stay.
Oh, I'm so sorry, my dear, but I'm afraid you haven't a choice.
Haven't you had enough of this silly game, darling? Let these people go home.
Oh, why, hello again! Who's a big boy?
Now, in spite of my wife's faith in my ability to do the impossible, I'm afraid that there is nothing I can do. But we do have some party favors for all of you. Now, this was my wife's idea, although I thought it to be rather dangerous. You do know how to operate one of these things, no? Oh, are you not familiar with the focusing disintegrator ray? What? It projects an isolate beam that shoots into the molecules of living organisms and scrambles them into a chain reaction. Just pull the trigger.
Sparky?
They're fully loaded. One for everybody. Here's yours, dear. It was your idea. Who knows? Maybe before the night's over, you'll want to use it on me.
I'm going up to my room. And anyone who comes inside, I'll shoot him. Or her.
Lance, the radio.
Are we not enough entertainment for you?
Eyewitness accounts have been investigated and documented. Security measures instituted in metropolitan areas include enforced curfews and safety patrols by armed personnel. Citizens are urged to remain in their homes. The theory is that this onslaught is a product of mass hysteria. Those who ignore this warning expose themselves to intense danger from the aggressors themselves and from armed citizenry whose impulse may be to shoot first and ask questions later. This army of unexplained, unidentified humanoid beings has appeared worldwide. These beings are totally aggressive and irrational in their violence. The civil defense efforts are underway, and investigations as to the origin and
Loren. Your wife is dead.
Ah, poor Annabelle. But with the house still locked and a mysterious crisis unfolding beyond its walls, there was no hope of help until morning.
As a doctor, what would you record as the actual cause of my wife's death?
Only an autopsy could determine exactly. But one thing is for sure. Annabelle's dead. Murdered. And someone's responsible. I'll leave you alone.
So cold. So beautiful. What are you doing here?
Wait! Nothing? Wait!
What do you mean coming in here?
I don't want them to take her away.
Nonsense, woman.
They will if you don't watch her.
Drunk.
They have before.
Out with it! What do you mean coming into this room?
Because I'm the only one who understands.
Understands what?
Your wife isn't there anymore. She has already joined them.
I have had enough of your spook talk.
I'm sure you've all come to the same conclusion I have.
What do we do?
Mrs. Pritchard, isn't there some way to get out of this house now?
No, none at all.
We could try breaking out.
The only door to the outside is made of steel, and the bars and the windows are set in solid stone. Oh, we gotta stay. Stay until...
I'm not afraid of your ghosts, Pritchard. But I am afraid. And we gotta stay here for 6 more hours.
6 hours. 6 of us. Time enough.
Who will be next? How will it happen? And what's going on outside?
Let me ask you a question, Doctor.
Do you think your wife killed herself?
No. I think that she was murdered. By one of you!
Or you, Mr. Loren? To deliberately kill someone, you must have a reason.
We were all strangers to her. You alone could have motive to murder.
Oh, what husband hasn't at some point wanted to kill his wife? And what husband hasn't had 1,000 opportunities to do so in such a way that would never be suspected?
The fact remains that you, or one of us, killed your wife. And that's a matter for the police.
Are you done trying me, Doctor? And is your verdict guilty of murder?
This isn't getting us anywhere. Somebody murdered Mrs. Loren. We know that. Somebody in this room is guilty, but the rest of us are innocent. Okay, what we need to do for the next 6 hours is just protect ourselves from each other.
Do you really think?
I don't think anything. I'm going up to my room.
Ooh, good idea. If we stay in our rooms until the morning, we should be safe. Because the innocent would have no reason to leave his room, and the guilty would admit his guilt. If he, or she, does.
Agreed.
And we've all got guns.
All the rooms can be locked.
I wish this night was over.
The remaining 5 locked themselves safe in their rooms, while our Nora tried to distract herself from the horrific scene from mere moments before.
Hello? Who's in here? I can hear you! I'll find you! I'll find you! I'll find you!
What happened to you?
She's one of them now!
That's impossible.
Upstairs!
Well, she was not hysterical.
What happened?
She tried to kill me.
Who?
Annabelle. Mrs. Loren is dead. Again.
What do we do?
I'm telling you, they can't get in here.
Stay here?
Whatever those creatures are, I found us.
If you're so worried, go down to the cellar.
Not on your life.
One of you killed Mrs. Loren. And the killer could strike again.
Up here, we can see what's going on outside. And we could get out if we had to. Down there ain't any windows. And if a rescue party does come, we'd never know it.
Well, I think I'm better off up here.
Is the girl safe?
I think you'd better stay with the group.
Modern women.
That's the cellar. It's the safest place. Look, you two can do whatever you want. I'm going back down to the cellar, and you better decide because I'm gonna board up that door, and I'm not gonna be crazy enough to unlock it no matter what happens.
Oh, I don't like it, and I guess I don't have much to say about it. You have a gun?
Yes.
Then the cellar is the safest place.
Well, I'm staying up here.
Well, he made his decision. You can stew in your own juice. Goodbye.
Oh, it's almost over, darling. Every detail was perfect.
What's happening?
We've done it. The perfect crime. Beautiful.
Are they still alive? Get me out of this. Why is this taking so long? What time is it?
At first, I couldn't make Nora go to the basement. But then after you appeared as we planned, oh, you were wonderful. That finally drove her into complete hysteria.
Oh, I practiced long enough. Where's Nora now? What's happening?
Down in the cellar.
David, are you sure none of them will suspect us?
Darling, believe me, every detail we planned is working perfectly. We're going to need a lot of jars.
Molotov cocktails?
We're gonna need kerosene. Oh, there's a jug of that down the hall.
It's taking too long, David.
Once they've settled down, we'll throw the Molotov cocktails from upstairs. Just splash the whole area with them while we make a break for the truck.
I do love you, darling.
Meanwhile, down in the cellar,
It's too dark. Give me a flashlight.
How about a match?
The light from your moon should help.
My moon?
How long will we be down here?
Maybe 2 Earth days.
Where are you from?
Someplace you've never heard of.
I think I know. I think I've known for some time. You're not from this world, are you? Seems impossible to think that you're so much like us.
We do not want to conquer your planet. Only save it. We could have destroyed it long ago if that had been our aim. Since the beginning of our time, we have been far beyond your planet. Our principal purpose is friendly. I admit we have had to take certain means which you might refer to as criminal. If you persist in denying us our landings, then we must only accept that you do not want us on friendly terms. We then have no alternative but to destroy you before you destroy us. With your ancient, juvenile minds, you have developed explosives too fast for your mind to conceive what you are doing. You are on the verge of destroying the entire universe. And we are part of that universe. This is why you must be stopped. This is why any means must be used to stop you in a friendly manner, or as it seems as you want it. Do you actually still believe it, that we are impossible to exist? If you didn't actually think you were the only inhabited planet in the universe? And how can any race be so stupid?
Stupid?
So you're an alien?
You see? You see? You're stupid, mind!
This is no time to be joking.
I'm not joking. Where did you think those monsters came from? The reanimated corpses or our planet's warfare?
Make this all stop!
I can't. The controls were damaged somehow. Wouldn't you rather just end it now with their meddling than permit them to destroy the whole universe?
There?
Oh, my boy, you do not know. I have watched you progress since the very beginning. You have excelled at all things. It hurt me so to see you deserted the way you were.
You're my father?
My son.
What is he talking about? You said he didn't know your father.
You are the son of the leader.
You won't be going back ever, will you?
The Earth is my home. I will never leave it.
It makes me realize how desperate the Earth is, hanging in space like a speck of food floating in the ocean, sooner or later to be swallowed up by some creature floating by.
Meanwhile, upstairs...
Can I get you a drink?
Scotch and soda.
I'll be right back.
You promise you'll lock the doors immediately?
I promise.
I'll be in bed with your pillow beside me.
My pillow?
Well, I have to have something to keep me company while you're away. Sometimes in the night when it does get a little lonely, I reach over and touch it. And then it doesn't seem so lonely anymore.
All right, darling. If you're especially nice to me, I may even lock the door.
We'll be sure to keep the yard lights on.
The lights? Oh, good God!
What? Mother of God!
Oh, this is crazy. What
are those things?
Those things are gonna be all in every window and door of this place.
We've got to get into the cellar.
There were few remaining survivors of the search party that was attacked. Escape attempts should be made in heavily armed groups and by motor vehicle if possible. Appraise your situation carefully before deciding upon an escape tactic. Fire is an effective weapon if in need of a concerted attack. Try to remain isolated if possible. Large families are in extreme danger. Escape attempts...
Father!
If possible. In this situation, be careful.
Father!
Fire is an effective weapon.
Father, what's it like on your...
Keep quiet, please!
Eat flesh. Human flesh. Flesh.
This damn thing!
Hey, the radio is okay. It's just...
They had a radio on upstairs.
Go ahead, my friend. But move very carefully.
Got your gun ready?
I'll tell you one thing, if a little green man jumps out at me, I am shooting first and asking questions later.
What on earth is that?
Let us in!
Let us in!
Holy mackerel, it's her!
She's alive?
Now, you two stay right where you're at.
It's me! I'm alive!
No, don't shoot.
Alive?
These guns are good on flesh and blood, and it looks like you two have plenty of both.
It was some sort of foolish joke!
You've got to explain this to me.
No time. There's
30 or 40 of them
in front of them.
in the house, and they look like they came
Like they just come from the
grave.
grave.
Or something. They're
in front of the cars. Look at
the cars? Look at the cars!
So, you're not one of them.
Prove it.
Edelweiss, every morning you greet me, small and white, clean and bright, you look happy to meet me. Blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever.
So, we got us a radio. That was close.
If I should stay. I told you. But you didn't listen. Mom! Mommy! She said she would be here. Take me. What are you looking at? You sucker. I'm sorry.
An admission of guilt, Doctor. Let me apologize for my wife.
I loved her.
Oh, a pity. Good night, Doctor. Good night, Annabelle. The crime you two planned was indeed perfect, only the victim is alive, and the murderers are dead. It's a shame that when you started this game of murder, you didn't know that I would be playing too. Open it up for the bones.
Make one sudden move and I slay you.
Stop her! You fool! Put an end to Miss Manning.
No,
we can go home. I won't punish you.
I won't let you kill anyone.
The double murder.
Anyone else. You deserted me. And I'd always hoped you'd return. But then I see how unconcerned you were when you destroyed all these innocent people. And now all of humanity. Goodbye, Father.
No.
No,
Yes. No!
Lance? Lance? Are you hurt badly?
I don't think so. Just bruised. In here.
Oh, thank heavens it's over.
Now you know where I'm from. I hope this won't change anything because
I don't care where you're from.
I still don't understand all this, Nora.
Somehow I feel as if I've always known you. As though we've never been apart.
No, we never will be. Crazy kid.
I do love you.
Nora and Lance spent the remainder of the night in a lustful embrace that only two souls who just survived a near-death experience could share. When the doors unlocked the following morning, they gathered their belongings and walked hand in hand into the world, eager to embark on a joint life filled with endless possibilities. Unfortunately, their lovers' haze blinded them to the cannibalistic apocalypse still looming beyond the mansion's walls. Nora and Lance were excruciatingly pulled limb from limb and eaten. They did not live happily ever after.
Sworn testimony. Can you prove that it didn't happen? Perhaps you will pass someone in the dark, and you will never know it, for they will be from outer space. Many scientists believe that another world is watching us this moment. We once laughed at the horseless carriage, the aeroplane, the telephone, the electric light, vitamins, radio, and even television. And now, some of us laugh at outer space. They came for me, and soon they'll come for you.